You know it's bad when the people who claim to clean up corruption start stumbling over their own words the moment Epstein's name enters the room. What you just saw from Jasmine Crockett wasn't comedy, it was exposure. Because when a prosecutor starts stuttering, when excuses suddenly multiply, when timelines stretch and shift, that's not confusion, that's panic. And today, we're breaking down exactly why the Epstein files have Washington sweating, and why some people desperately want you looking the other way.
Oh, let me see. All right. Will the Republicans do anything about Trump? They have been trying to censor people all week. Child, listen. I think we're at a record for censors. I really do. Like, it, you don't, I mean, y'all, somebody on the internet, y'all can go Google this and figure it out. But I don't know that we've ever had 3 censor motions in 1 week. We usually don't have 3 in a year. Like, it was very rare. Yeah. And that's where we are. Do I think that the Republicans are going to do anything about him? It just depends. I think the more that they see the writing on the walls, as we go through these special elections, as we look at the numbers, I think November 4th was a wake-up call. I think that's one of the reasons that some of them are like, maybe not so much, because, baby, he on his way out, whether he like it or not. You get 2 terms maximum as president in these United States, okay? And some of them want to stick around for a while. Some of them want to have political careers. And it's going to crash and burn if your only answer is to do whatever Donald Trump told you to do. It is. That's not sustainable, like, whatsoever. And I think some people are waking up to that. But I think, the more that people show up to their town halls, the more that we show up at all these other elections and overperform, I think the more likely it is that we start to see some movement. From TikTok, when will the Epstein files come out? Okay, so y'all know I don't trust Pam, right? Y'all know I don't trust her, right? So I'm gonna just say this $1,000,000 question. I will tell you that according to the bill that was filed and signed into law, they are supposed to release it within 30 days. I just want to remind y'all that oversight has had outstanding subpoenas to the DOJ, and thanks to the Epstein estate, we getting stuff. That's all I gotta say. So, and Pam she was stuttering the other day at a press conference. I think it was yesterday. She was like, right. So I fully anticipate she's going to say we've got ongoing investigations, even though she had previously announced that there was nothing to investigate. But now she's like, well, we've got new information from the estate. And it's like, well, girl, if y'all were doing your jobs and you were doing the investigatory work, then y'all would have had this too, right? Or am I wrong? Maybe Pam don't know nothing about trying cases. Again, she about to lose that Comey case. Hell, they lost the sandwich case, y'all. They lost the sandwich assault case. The fact that they brought a sandwich assault case is just okay, I'm done with that part. Let me move to the next.
What you just watched from Jasmine Crockett wasn't just another off-the-cuff moment. It was a window into a deeper tension playing out inside Congress, a tension that Republicans cannot hide behind procedural games, censure motions, or talking points. Crockett is pointing to something real. When a political movement starts to feel the walls closing in, it lashes out. And this past week, with multiple censure attempts flying around like flyers in a food fight, tells you everything about how shaky the ground has become. Republicans keep flexing the only muscle they seem to remember: punishment. Not policy, not oversight, not governing. Punishment. They've attempted more censures in 1 week than Congress normally sees in an entire year. And when a legislative body turns into a grievance chamber, it's a sign of decay, not strength. That's what Crockett is highlighting. The center of gravity inside the GOP has shifted so far toward performative loyalty tests that the basic machinery of democracy is starting to rust. And then she goes deeper, because this isn't just about them censoring critics, it's about the psychological climate around Donald Trump himself. Crockett is pulling back the curtain on a dynamic that political analysts talk about constantly: self-preservation. She's saying plainly that some Republicans, for the first time in years, are realizing Trump cannot deliver their future. When she mentions special elections, voter turnout shifts, and overperformance in places Democrats usually lose, that matters. Those are the metrics politicians track obsessively behind closed doors, and those numbers are scaring some Republicans enough that they've started looking for exits. Quietly, carefully, but definitely. Then Crockett pivots, and this is where the clip becomes more important than people realize, because now we're talking about the Epstein files. And she calls out Pam Bondi not as a partisan jab, but as a credibility issue. Bondi has built an entire public persona around being a tough prosecutor, a fighter, a no-nonsense figure. But when the topic turns to Epstein, when accountability is suddenly inconvenient, when the timeline is tight, when the law requires transparency, suddenly we get stutters, backtracking, and new excuses. This matters because federal agencies love to hide behind the phrase ongoing investigation. It's the most elastic shield in government. It can stretch for months, years, even decades. And Crockett is warning viewers that the same pattern might happen here, not because there's truly an investigation, but because the political implications are bigger than anyone wants to admit. The Epstein case touches money, power, institutions, elites from both parties, donors, judges, corporate giants. Every time new documents leak, the list of people who want the truth buried grows longer. So when Crockett says it's the Epstein estate, not DOJ, not prosecutors, pushing out documents, that's enormous. She's basically saying the transparency is being forced from the outside because the inside has no appetite for it. And the part about Bondi losing cases, even the sandwich assault case? People might hear that and laugh, but Crockett is pointing to a pattern. If the team overseeing these files can't competently handle basic legal work, how can anyone trust them with one of the most sensitive, most politically explosive document releases in recent memory? She's raising the question, is the lack of progress incompetence or convenience? And this is why her commentary matters, because it's not just entertainment. Crockett is giving a civics lesson. She's showing exactly how power protects itself, how political loyalty shapes investigations, and how the public can actually force transparency by showing up, voting, and refusing to let stories die. And that's the takeaway. The reason these files might finally come out isn't because the system works, it's because the system is being pressured. Because people like Crockett keep asking questions, because the public is watching, because political actors who once felt invincible are suddenly calculating their own futures. And that's why staying engaged isn't optional, it's necessary. These files, this investigation, this moment, transparency only happens when the public refuses to let it fade. If you value commentary that cuts through the noise, that breaks down the politics behind the headlines, that explains what's really happening in the halls of power, then make sure you're part of this community. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so more people understand what's at stake. The more informed we are, the harder it becomes for anyone to bury the truth.